Up next on Connections, a new push to make the CTA system safer, quicker, and more reliable. We'll have the latest. That, plus the local companies that are helping their workers and their bottom line by participating in the Transit Benefit Fare program. And what does it take to be the best of the best? We'll look at the CTA's annual rodeo competition. Keeping transit escalators and elevators in tip-top shape. We'll look at the folks who are keeping downtime to a minimum. The CTA, working hard to improve, committed to quality and its riders. Welcome to Connections. The CTA, delivering quality, affordable transit that links people, jobs, and communities. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. There are challenges ahead, but silver linings to report too, as the CTA moves into the next phase of three-track operation at the Belmont and Fullerton stations. Rebuilding Brown Line stations and platforms will allow the CTA to operate longer trains and make the stations accessible with the addition of elevators and ramps. To allow room for elevators at Belmont and Fullerton, the tracks need to be realigned.
During the first phase of three-track operation, what we did was we pretty much ran normal southbound service at Fullerton and Belmont, and we altered the northbound service because we had one of the northbound tracks under construction. This phase is going to be exactly the opposite, where we take one of the southbound tracks out of service for construction, and we have both of the normal northbound tracks in service.
The next phase of three-track begins March 30th. The good news? CTA will also begin operating 8-car trains on the Brown Line nearly 18 months earlier than originally planned. Removing one track from service allows CTA to maintain service at both stations throughout construction. At a recent press conference, President Ron Huberman announced the status of the project.
Originally, we talked about instituting 8-car trains at the end of this project. That being said, we are ahead of schedule and have changed our construction schedule to be able to now accommodate 8-line trains effective March 30th on the Brown Line.
Right now, we're running the red, the brown, and the purple line trains on 2 southbound tracks at Belmont and Fullerton. And for the next phase of construction, all 3 of those routes are going to have to share one track through the stations at Belmont and Fullerton.
For customers taking the Brown Line, there are several other changes coming up on March 30th. The Southport station will reopen, and a temporary station will also open at Diversey. And the Paulina and Wellington stations are temporarily closing for construction. There are several alternatives to consider when planning your commute.
Asking customers to take alternate bus routes. We're increasing our bus routes southbound so people have more options. Customers who usually use the Paulina station can use the adjacent stations of Addison or Southport during their construction process. While the Wellington station is closed, customers can use nearby stations, Belmont and Diversey. Those stations are both only 2 blocks away.
The CTA is working to ensure that customers continue to receive the information they'll need to plan their commutes.
I think our customers have been great through this whole process because they understand that to build a new station, you need to make some alterations to commuting habits.
Throughout this Brown Line project, we've worked with local elected officials, community groups, businesses, through our Brown Line Task Force meeting monthly, community group organizations, to let them know what's going on. We also have our Brown Line website, ctabrownline.com, to let people know exactly what's going on.
Although there are some inconveniences now, when the project is complete, riders will see a tremendous difference in the Brown Line.
The 2 main goals of it are to expand capacity on the Brown Line by making all the stations capable of accepting 8 cars so we can run 8-car trains, and then also to make all the stations ADA accessible, as well as upgrading signal communications, power delivery for the Brown Line, adding elevators to the project, and rehabbing some historic stations.
Historically, the Brown Line is run with 6-car trains, and in order to accommodate growing ridership on that line, we want to increase the train length to 8 cars. The reason for rebuilding all the stations is that some of them are only able to accommodate 6-car trains. The platforms are short.
All of the stations were right around the 100-year-old mark as far as age, give or take a few years. They all are being upgraded, meaning all the materials will be new, all the railings and the platform and the station houses will all have, new amenities.
You can continue checking on the changing schedules at CTA's website, transitchicago.com, or at ctabrownline.com. And remember, when navigating through the 3-track zone, the best advice is to leave early, leave late, alternate. Just ahead on Connections, taking steps to keep the steps moving, the fine art of escalator and elevator maintenance. What improvements would you like to see on the CTA?
Real-time information would be great. I'd like to know when the next train's coming down that track and how long we have to wait.
Better bus service, really.
Just more security. I'd feel better at night traveling.
Faster routes, because the blue line takes forever to get to school.
I would love to get to work on time. That's all I want. Okay. That's all I need.
Why drive and face traffic jams, stiff parking fees, and skyrocketing gasoline bills? Plenty of people rely on the CTA. If you want to hop aboard, here's how to get all the information you need. Online, go to www.transitchicago.com. There you can access bus and train schedules, system maps and brochures, and service updates. You can even use the trip planner. Enter where you want to start, where you want to go, and what time you plan to travel. The trip planner suggests the best route to take. Another option, make the connection by phone. Call 836-7000 from any local area code. Combining technology and teamwork while delivering dependable, affordable transit. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. This is something we do all the time, going up and down escalators without giving it a second thought. However, at the CTA, they've increased their focus on escalators and elevators too, working smarter to keep them operating for customers.
My average escalator is now 25 years old. My average elevator is 12 years old. I have escalators that have been running since 1943, World War II, up to the latest one, which is right here, which was installed last year. So trying to keep them running is a major problem, especially because a lot of them are exposed to outdoor conditions, the weather, snow, rain. And if we don't do preventive maintenance, we find we have a lot more calls on them.
In August of 2007, the CTA put a new preventative maintenance program in place. Escalators undergo a 20-step maintenance process that helps prevent breakdowns. The idea is to keep more escalators in working order and reduce the number of breakdowns.
What up?
These are mechanical devices, so if you don't oil them, if you don't take care of them, if you don't do maintenance on them, they're going to break down. And we don't want that people to be on them when they break down.
Our customers expect them running, and CTA wants them running. It's an expectation of our customers that they'll come in the escalators, that they won't have to walk downstairs or walk upstairs. So therefore, we want the escalators running to meet our customers' expectations.
Elevators are also getting preventative maintenance, which cuts downtime and lengthens the life of the equipment. New elevator floors are a nice improvement for riders.
We put in new floors. It's a combination. We start off at the top. It has a polyurethane sealant. Underneath that is a vinyl floor. Underneath that is a composite of cement and plastic. And then underneath that is steel. The intent is to keep the fluids from getting in. Before we had wood underneath the floors, and the fluids would get into the wood and cause a smell, an odor. The intent is to get rid of that odor.
One of of the most crucial considerations in the preventative maintenance program is to have service people working on the equipment during less crowded hours.
One of the things we've done is we are now starting people earlier in the morning, especially on Mondays when the elevators and escalators have been down over the weekend, so that Monday morning rush hour, our goal is to have 0 elevators and 0 escalators down, and we're having people stay later for the evening rush to make sure, again, that the equipment is available for people going home at night.
As always, customer safety is the highest priority.
The 3 points of safety are keep 2 feet on the steps at all times and 1 hand on the handrail. You also want to make sure that your feet are away from the sides of the walls of the escalator, which we call skirts.
We would like them to use care if they're wearing soft sole shoes, stilettos, because they can get caught in the treads of the escalator and you don't want to get stuck. Also open-toed shoes, because these are mechanical and you don't want to get your feet caught up in the machine.
Basically, it's like comparing cars from 1950 to today's car. Obviously, today's cars have seat belts, have air bags, etc., and have a lot of electronics. On the newer ones, we have a lot of solid-state electronics. The controllers are almost all electronic equipment nowadays. We have more safety switches to protect the public.
There are lots of ups and downs to all this elevator escalator business, but with its improved maintenance program, the CTA is committed to keeping them up and running while reducing the time spent down for repairs. Only the very best CTA employees get to compete in the annual rodeo competition. It's an important way to honor employee skills and to celebrate the effort they put forth throughout the year. So you want to know what happens at a CTA rodeo? Well, sit back in your saddle, partner, and let me tell you the tale.
Rodeo competition has been going on for CTA now for about 25 years. It's really about employee incentive and really about allowing our best employees, our employees with perfect records, to recognize them and allow them to have a fun competition to show us who is the best of the best.
There are competitions for several key areas: rail maintenance, bus operation, cleanliness. The most important aspects of CTA operations are put to the test.
We added several years ago customer service because the interaction with the customer is so important to the rider's experience.
All of you are champions, right? To get to the level of competition, just to get to the level that you are here, is a tremendous accomplishment.
Managers and supervisors review applicants' records to make sure that they're qualified.
We have a rodeo locally at the garage, and you grade it on uniform inspection, you ask for your driving skills, you grade it on a number of things, and then if you score high, that's when you're eligible to participate in the rodeo at the Jamboree at Skokie Shops.
Bus operators would compete against other bus operators driving a predetermined course, really to show that they have complete control and understanding of how a bus operates, how they as a driver control it, and are able to make sure it functions properly.
Drivers, start your engines. It's time for the bus operators competition. The bus operator obstacle course, where skills such as right and left turns, serpentine turns, and backing up are all performed under the watchful eyes of the judges. As in most competitions, no one ever wants to go first.
27.
The way it's set up is that we all gather around under this tent. You actually draw your number to see who goes first. And lucky me, I picked number 2. And by default, I ended up going first because number 1 was never drawn. When you go first, they kind of get happy because, they expect for the first person to get nervous, kind of not do well as they go through the course because, with the whole everybody watching.
This year, for the second year in a row, Jairo Naranjo took the top prize for bus operators.
As you speak with the guy and you talk with Jairo, and you realize he's humble, and he takes pride in his job. He's aware that the customers are our number 1 priority, and the guy remains accident-free. He does it year after year.
It is a friendly competition, A lot of it is showing off what you can do. But, you know, deep down inside, everybody's got that little competitive edge. And, you know, I'm sure when we're out there competing, everybody wants to win. But, you know, I mean, like at the end, you know, all in all, it's all just for good fun.
All those tests and obstacle courses serve another purpose. They actually provide benefits to the customers.
It gives the operators confidence. They do know, they are aware that they can perform certain maneuvers while on the street.
Many of those champions have gone on to become supervisors for us, instructors for us, managers for us, and so that's a very important way to recognize our best operators on the street become the code to make this future company great.
As far as the garage, I would say it just, you know, it's a little bit of bragging rights for the other garages, but as far as for CTA, it just shows that we got great drivers here.
And Jairo is the operator to beat next year. In fact, some of the other operators at his garage have already issued the challenge. So keep an eye out. The next time you hop on a CTA bus, you might be riding with a rodeo winner.
Still to come, a business benefit that is shaving the cost of the commute.
Connections is now available on demand 24 hours a day. You can now subscribe to the Connections video podcast and automatically receive each month's program absolutely free. There are several ways to find us. Go to www.transitchicago.com and click on Connections. You can also go directly to the iTunes Music Store and search the words CTA Connections. You can either choose a specific episode for instant viewing, or you can subscribe once and automatically download new shows each month. Like all video podcasts, Connections can be viewed directly on your computer or laptop, or can be viewed on a portable device such as the video iPod.
The word connection, a link or a spark that brings people together. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections.
Often when people are looking for a job, benefits are a big consideration. And many employers in the Chicago area are now offering a benefit to their employees that will save them money on their commute.
The transit benefit started about 20 years ago, actually, as a means to generate greater interest in public transit. CTA formalized its program in 1999 and created a joint program with the RTA. We call it the RTA CTA Transit Benefit Fare Program.
I manage the program. I work in our Lincolnshire office, and I actually get a voucher for my Metro commute. I also do have dollars set aside for my Chicago Card Plus, as I use it when I'm working in our Chicago offices to commute back and forth.
Simply stated, an employee decides how much they want to put aside monthly for transit. That money is taken out of their paycheck pre-tax and used for public transit.
When a new employee starts and wants to participate in the program, they fill out a form, and probably the hardest part of the entire process is actually getting up from your desk and faxing the form over.
If you're in the CTA Chicago Card Plus Transit Benefit Program, we do all that process online. Then when your Chicago Card Plus is sent directly to you, the employee.
Recently, the IRS added an extra incentive to get involved with the Transit Benefit Program.
The IRS recently increased the maximum amount allowed for pre-tax on transit benefit. As of January 1st, 2008, the maximum is now $115 a month. So if you use a combination of transit or use transit on a regular basis, you can actually save up to 40% on your transit and travel over the course of the year using the maximum amount.
Someone taking that maximum $115 deduction each month would save over $500 a year in taxes, which is a lot of money.
Besides the tax breaks, there are other benefits to employees when they sign up for the program.
Our associates see savings on their taxes, an ease in commute, especially in using something like Chicago Card Plus, because those dollars are loaded automatically. They don't have to run to a machine or run to a location to add those dollars. They see less stress in terms of getting to work.
We found that generally employees of not-for-profit organizations earn somewhat less than the general public, so we want to be able to make that salary difference up in benefits that we can provide to our employees.
There are many employers in the Chicagoland area that are taking advantage of the Transit Benefit Program, and they're seeing results to their bottom line.
It shows our concern for the environment. We see clients that are looking to do business with Hewitt, and I'm involved in client proposals, and this question comes up more and more. Hewitt, what are you doing in terms of the environment? And it's something we can point to say this is a program we offer nationwide.
Well, employers also benefit because they get a savings on payroll taxes if they join the program. So it's a benefit for the employer as well as the employee.
There are more than 2,500 companies enrolled in the Transit Benefit Program. To sign up for the program or for more information, call 312-681-3093.
I really strongly encourage companies that haven't put in a pre-tax transportation program, they really should look at it. Their employees will save money, their employees will see benefits from it, and the company will also see benefits in terms of reduced taxes, and everybody's looking to save money.
It's a win-win situation for everyone. Good for business and good for employees, who often get to work faster, easier, and cheaper.
Up next, a new push to make the CTA system safer, quicker, and more reliable.
That's enough. All right. I've got enough. Come on! Oh, you gotta be kidding me! What the heck?
Getting from here to there quickly, easily, and without breaking the bank. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections.
Ending slow zones, improving travel times, and creating safer and more reliable service. It's all part of a recent $227 million capital plan announced by Mayor Daley.
A modern public transportation system is essential to the future of our city, our state, and of course the country. It's vital to our economic security and our ability to recruit new businesses and jobs here in the Chicago area and the metropolitan area as well. It provides an alternative to the cars and traffic congestion that we see every day. We hear about it every day, and the air pollution they bring with it.
CTA recently received operational funding that stopped the doomsdays. However, capital funding is still needed to make changes that will benefit CTA customers.
The General Assembly will be considering a capital bill in the current session, and we hope and need to be part of that capital bill discussion. We still have significant capital needs that need funding, and so we will be down in Springfield lobbying for that because it's critical to keeping the system going.
The mayor's plan calls for upgrades across the system. CTA is using money from several sources.
The CTA is launching a $200 million program with federal funding that will improve the safety and reliability of the system, reduce CTA slow zones on the rail system by over 68%. It would reduce travel time for users on the L.
This is coming from two funding sources. One is unused and surplus funds from completed projects. So for example, the Douglas Branch Reconstruction Project had a contingency fund that had $26 million. Again, these were always federal formula funds that by law could not have been used for operations.
Greater safety, improved reliability, and the elimination of slow zones. These are the three main components of the new capital plan, and CTA customers will soon see the results.
Construction for all these projects will begin in March and will be complete by May 2009. The key to this is 14 months, and so the return for our customers will happen quickly.
CTA is investing in new technology to bring Chicago's public transportation into the new millennium.
Things such as you see here, which is the new track standard for the CTA. It involves 100% recycled plastic rail ties and involves placing rubber seals both below and above a tie plate. What that helps us ensure is that we'll be able to provide a smoother, quieter ride that will be safer for our customers.
It's very important that we go and replace the old wooden ties. A lot of our ties are past their useful life, and when they get past the useful life of around 25 to 30 years, they start to degrade. We have to put slow zones in. When we put slow zones in and we get down to 35 mile an hour, 25 mile an hour, and down to really 15 miles an hour, no one wants to ride a train because it's quicker to take other modes of transportation.
Besides the new plastic rail ties, CTA is using other new technology to provide a more comfortable ride.
With the new ties and the E-clips on there where it holds the rail down tight, doesn't let the rail move around at all, and it gives a little spring. The ties are a little flexible.
We've reduced the centers on the ties, where the old design allowed for a 24-inch spacing between the center of one tie to the next tie. We've brought that spacing down to 20 inches, which allows us to operate at 65 miles per hour in a much smoother, more comfortable ride for our customers.
Other future plans include increased lighting and signage at stations, more structural improvements, platform upgrades, computer system upgrades, and new hybrid buses.
When slow zone construction is completed by this time next year, trains will be able to travel at 65 miles an hour on key portions of the system, something that hasn't happened since the 1960s. Why drive and face traffic jams, stiff parking fees, and skyrocketing gasoline bills? Plenty of people rely on the CTA. If you want to hop aboard, here's how to get all the information you need. Online, go to www.transitchicago.com. There you can access bus and train schedules, system maps and brochures, and service updates. You can even use the trip planner. Enter where you want to start, where you want to go, and what time you plan to travel. The trip planner suggests the best route to take. Another option, make the connection by phone. Call 836-7000 from any local area code. Traveling in and around Chicago on the CTA saves you time and money. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. Do you have a travel secret you'd like to share? How about a hidden Chicago gem that's served by the CTA? We're always looking for story ideas, so give us a call at the Connections Hotline, 312-681-2812. Helping you make your connections, I'm Jean Sparrow. Thank you for watching.